Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Seen Beyond and Through with Monty. Right before you is a Trump supporter with the F Biden t-shirt on, holding his prized possession, the wig of a black woman. Now, this happened with the recent riots about a week ago, where a black female was walking into danger. She found herself in the middle of a Trump rally with Trump supporters that she decided to videotape. Not a good idea. But before I go on, I want you to take a look at this. Okay, so you heard the Trump supporters jeering, cheering, holding the wig up like if it's a trophy or something. Very happy to have taken that off of the head of a black female. And this is Berlinda Nibo. Wrong place, wrong time. Here she is being held by a white man. And I want to show you something here. Okay, I thought I was going to die. A crowd of Trump supporters attacked a black woman. Wow, what cowards. You attack a lone black female. She should not have been there. She should have just walked away. But still in all, it doesn't give you the right to attack her. Now, here's Berlinda Nibo before she got her wig snatched off in a fight with some Trump supporters. Bad move. Anytime you see a crowd like that of 30 or more and you're by yourself, the best thing to do is to turn away. Here she is, battered and bruised, wig snatched off. Look like, yeah, she's on the side. See that where she has a towel on the side of her, the left side of her face or temple? I want to show you something right there. A black woman describes terrifying attack by Trump mob in L.A. I'm thinking I'm dead. See, remember when she had her right there? Look at right here. The guy's holding her, and you see a fist that comes and smacks her on the side temple or the head. There it goes right there. And she's wincing and kind of like turning her face. And the guy right here, to me, is not helping at all. There are some conflicting reports stating that he was helping her or that he was hurting her by holding her down. I'm going to say hurting her. I'm going to tell you the reason why. If you're going to help someone, if you want to shield them, what you want to do is turn her around. Make sure her face is on your shoulders. He's big enough for her face could have been protected on his shoulders. So therefore, you don't leave her vulnerable. With this position right here, he leaves her eyes and face vulnerable to be punched and pepper sprayed, in which she was punched and pepper sprayed. Looked like to me too, to be honest with you, not trying to be funny, that he's copping a field. Black woman heartbroken after vicious attack by racist mega mob in Los Angeles. Okay, a black woman in Los Angeles who was beaten and pepper sprayed this week by Trump supporters while her arms were held down by her side is lucky to be alive. While her arms were held down by her side is lucky to be alive. Let's see arms held down. Yep, their arms are held down. He's helping them to attack her. He's not protecting her. Berlinda Nibo, 25, said she was walking past a stop and still protest outside Los Angeles City Hall on Wednesday during the attempted coup in Washington, D.C., when a group of Trump supporters started asking who she voted for, saying White Lives Matter, and calling her the N-word. Nebo said she then flipped them off and told them to leave her alone and that they should be wearing masks. Oh, Berlinda, wrong idea. I mean, you're going to agitate them even more. It still doesn't give them the right to jeer you, to call you names, and then ultimately beat you. But you engaging into a mob of white men, it's not going to help matters. It's going to get them even more agitated. Understand white mentality. They do not like being told what to do by black people, and especially a black woman. Let's move on. Soon after, Nebo realized a group of about 30 people kept following her, and she quickened her pace. But the Trump supporters blocked her path and swarmed her. A man she recorded on her cell phone falsely accused her of hitting someone else and scratched her eyes and took her phone. Footage captured by Nebo of the man shows him accusing her of assaulting that guy and grabbing her phone. Other people then started hitting Nebo, put her off her wig, and pepper sprayed her. I thought I was going to die, Nebo told BuzzFeed News. If I didn't stand up for myself, there's a group of people were going to beat me to death. I kept telling myself, don't fall down because you'll get stumped. Nebo and a photographer who captured the attack said Los Angeles police officers were across the street but never intervened. Let me stop right there. Doesn't surprise me at all, because keep in mind, over 83% of police officers voted for Trump. We've seen in the Capitol how they were helping the demonstrators get inside the buildings. They were removing barricades. Why would she think that the officers are going to help her? Let's move on. The attack occurred on the same day a mob of nearly all white Trump supporters breached and ransacked the U.S. Capitol. The response from authorities in Washington, D.C. resulted in criticism of the double standard over how police respond to pro-Trump insurrection versus Black Lives Matter protests over the summer. At one point during the attack, Nebo said a man came up from behind her, tightly put his arms around her and held her arms at her side and told her, I got you, calm down. These people are going to kill you. Nebo didn't fight back because of that moment. She did need help and she believed him. But while the man was carrying her with her hands by her side, someone pepper sprayed her in the face for at least the third time. Miss Nebo, this man was not helping you. He was restraining you. He allowed you to get punched on the side of the face. He kept the most vulnerable part of you open, which is your face. But the man was carrying her with her hands at her side. Someone pepper sprayed her in the face. Wow, for at least the third time. Jeez. It did not help me, Nebo said. It would have helped me more if he had made way for what, but it didn't help me, Nebo said. It would have helped me more if he had made a way for me to move out of there completely. Well, people, you can read the rest of that. You know, he wasn't trying to help you. He was with the demonstrators. He was against Black Lives Matter. You know, it goes on to say that how, go to the bottom of the picture up there. Nachachico said the police LAPD officers were across the street less than 20 feet away from where Nebo was attacked. The police were there the entire time and didn't move an inch, she said. Does that surprise anyone? Doesn't surprise me at all. Let me say this much. Black women, white men are not going to protect you. Really. I know people love to talk about divesting. We want to divest from black men and date white men. But this goes to show that the vast majority of white men do not really like black women. There have been dating statistics done and attractive levels done where white men have stated they find black women least attractive. You know, people help me to understand this. When black women talk about divesting, I understand it's a movement though, but you're going to divest from black men, from the black community, and move on to white men, to a white community, to a group of men who find you the least attractive of all women. Doesn't make any sense. But date who you want to date. I do want to say this. If you see a mob, if you're a black male or a black female, if I was looking at this from across the street, I'm not going to go over there to videotape anything. I'm not going to interact with them. I'm outnumbered. Who knows what type of weapons that they may have? The LAPD obviously are not going to help you. Why put yourself in a bad position? I mean, black women talk about black men protecting them, but we cannot protect you if you choose to make bad choices. And if you choose to put yourself in harm's way, where a black man can also be killed because of your foolish behavior, why should we jump in there and risk our lives for something that could have been avoided? This is not a smart move on her part. She mentioned that she has deep psychological scars from this. Well, of course. A mob, you could have lost your life? Yes. It's not going to be a walk in the park mentally anymore. She's probably going to be psychologically scarred. And you know, tearing off a wig. Wow, that's an act of like racial aggression. He knew exactly what he was doing. Funny thing, when black men fight black women or assault him, you almost never hear them tearing off a wig. Never hear that. But here a white man here with her wig, holding it up like a symbol, like he's trying to shame her. Like I snatched it off. It's a trophy or something. Look at this awful thing that I have in my hand. A part of you I'm taking away. Just let this be a lesson for black men and black women. A good run is better than a bad stand any day. When you're outnumbered, avoid it. Don't interact. Really, what's the point of arguing back? You're not going to change their mind. If they were without a mask, they're not going to put on one because you're telling them to. Or you're questioning them, why aren't they wearing a mask? Unfortunately, and I say both because this could have been avoided. But unfortunately, she was beaten. People, instead of trying to be brave, confrontational, aggressive, sometimes it's better off to just use common sense and be smart. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that was another edition of Seeing Beyond and Through with Monty, and I will see you beyond and through.